Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is your daily tarot reading for Saturday the 23rd of September. I'm using the Wheel of the Year Tarot. It's kind of fitting for September because we're now entering into autumn or fall. So let's have a look at what these cards want you to be aware of today and what the energy is about. So I like these cards. They're very kind of cartoony and positive and colorful. All of the things which I like. So we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Ten of Chalices, and then we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so what I'm noticing big time is the discrepancy between community and love and family and cats and dogs and children versus the solitary nature of this man. He does have two owls with him, and the solitary nature of this man. I think that's the big difference. Whether you feel connected today or whether you feel on your own and isolated. So first of all, the Knight of Swords is someone who really doesn't know what he's doing. He rushes into things. He wants war. He wants to immediately ride out and prove how brave and victorious he is. He's totally in his ego. He doesn't think things through. He doesn't make good decisions. He just rushes off at the slightest whim and goes to battle. Swords represents the element of air, and it represents thinking and ideas. So your ideas today are somewhat unreliable, somewhat sharp, and somewhat reckless. And you may have the desire to just throw things up in the air and just to be done with them because you can't be bothered with patience, or you can't be bothered with waiting around for some other people. You just want to get it done yesterday. You want it done immediately, and you're not going to settle for anyone holding you up or slowing you down or keeping you stuck. And if you're in that headspace, you'll be by yourself. If you want to be by yourself, then you can use this Knight of Swords energy and gallop off and do all of the things you want, but it won't bring you happiness. The Knight of Swords has to grow up. He has to become the King of Swords and manage his thinking. You don't manage your thinking by giving in to every whim or every negative impulse you have. You advance and progress from the Knight of Cups into the, not Cups, Knight of Swords into the King of Swords by working on your thinking, by working on your mind, and not, going after every ridiculous thought that you think, and instead you reflect on it and you become a bit more contemplative, such as this guy is. The next card is the Ten of Chalices. The Ten of Chalices really represents happy family life and being part of a community. And the only thing that can wreck that is if this guy, imagine these people are sitting there in the garden, okay? He's left his castle, he now gallops in with his sword raised. They're all going to be scared half to death. They're going to go running. They're going to pick up the son and run away. The cat's going to go up a tree. The dog's going to try and bite the horse's leg, whatever. It's just going to ruin the whole scene. So the message for today is don't let your thoughts govern you, and especially things that are negative or where you feel like, I want to get back at someone, I want to do some damage, I've been wronged, therefore I'm going to wrong someone. That kind of thinking particularly is not going to be helpful, and it's going to have long-term consequences, and it's going to break something, and it's going to break a relationship. So you being really stubborn and in your own head today can have the potential to ruin a relationship. That's a working relationship, that's a friendship, that's a romantic relationship, any kind of relationship. And we all mess up once in a while, and we all have relationships, and we all have to apologize at times. But on this day, you're not into apologizing. What your default setting is, my way or the highway. Be very careful about that. The final card is the Ace of Swords, and that's really the saving grace of this. The Ace of Swords is a blessing from the universe. We've got two owls sitting on it. It represents wisdom. It represents wisdom being given to you. And we have this elfish looking man meditating, and he has received this gift of wisdom because he meditates and because he's taken time out. He's rushing off. He doesn't reflect for a second. This man is literally sitting down cross-legged. He's not going anywhere. So if you want your day to look like this, then take a time out. Realize that every thought you think is not the truth. Just because you think it doesn't make it right. Realize that you're not the wisest creature on earth, that there's still a lot to learn, and that you're being presented with a gift today, and that you can become wiser, and that you can manage some of your faulty thinking and overcome some of your fears by being contemplative, by reflecting, and by not giving in to every impulse that comes your way instantly. So if the thought comes in, oh my God, my brother really annoyed me. I'm going to call his employer today and I'm going to be really vindictive and make an anonymous phone call and say something that's really going to cause him problems at work. Really nasty kind of stuff. So that's the kind of thing people sometimes do, which is unfortunate. You know, when people are angry or they're afraid, then the actions they take from that anger or fear cause a lot of damage. That's him. Don't be him today. If you have negative feelings come up, then reflect on them. Don't think that you have to take action on them just because you think them. You can let them go and you can trade them in for wisdom. It's another way of growing. And I think it was yesterday's reading or the day before where there was another opportunity to really progress as an individual, as a person. And this is another day where you really have the universe on your side. It wants to give you this wisdom. It wants to give you this inspiration and insight. But you have to quiet down a little bit and be receptive and be willing to say, I don't know everything yet. I'm willing to learn, and I open myself up to learning so that I can have a life that works more effectively in all areas, that I get to be kinder to the people around me, that I get to do work that I enjoy, that I get to express my love for my son in a way that's positive and that supports him and builds his self-esteem, so that we can surround ourselves with beautiful things and love each other and be a family. This family is going to have problems like everyone else. You know, the dog is going to chew his scarf. The boy is going to get his shirt dirty because he spills ink on it. You know, he is going to be criticized possibly by his wife because he has to work 12-hour days and she feels neglected. But it's about taking those thoughts and communicating with each other and finding a common ground and maintaining the harmony of your relationships, rather than saying, all these people, they just demand things off me. I have to work the 12 hours, for example, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to pay for all of this. So I'm just going to say, listen, take it or leave it. I'm going to do my 12 hours. If you don't want that, then there's the door. That's what he would do. And then there's a chance that this happy family is going to split up, and she's going to say, well, fine, if you're not willing to compromise and if you're choosing work over me, then I'm going to go. I'm going to find someone who does have time for me, who does appreciate me, and I'm going to be off. Then he loses his wife. The poor child has to go back and forth between the two, and it's all over. So the day is not about being reckless, thoughtless, harsh, cruel, ruthless, and cutting people off. It's about allowing more wisdom to come in. No matter how old and wise you think you are, there's more wisdom and there's more learning to be done. And that applies if you're 16 or 60. And whether you've been meditating 8 hours a day for 30 years, or whether you've never done a day of meditation in your life, there's a gift coming your way today which makes you wiser. So you end this day wiser than you started it if you don't take reckless action. Chord card is 1. 1 and 10 is 11. And 1 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. And 3 is about communication. not rushing off into things and communicating by yourself and keeping it all in and keeping secrets and saying, I'm the wise one, I only have the answers. It's about saying, we may have a problem here, I'm going to communicate with you and resolve it. And that's the way to keep things happy and to maintain this and to have a really wonderful day where you can feel connected to people, where you can have a good time and you can communicate in a way that's joyous and positive, and that makes you feel good and that makes other people around you feel good, and that brings you all closer together. So it looks like a wonderful day. It looks like a day where you can potentially have a great time with those you love. So make sure you spend time with people who you care about. Don't spend time with people who bring out the worst in you. You know, your nemesis or your foes or things like that. Allow for wisdom to come in and then use that wonderful energy to strengthen your personal relationships. So I hope you have a great day. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. I use astrology and numerology and the tarot in all my readings. And by using these divination tools, I'm able to tap into my own intuition. And we can look at what your vocational aptitudes are, what your life mission is, what you still need to learn, what areas of your life you are reckless in, you know, where there are faulty thoughts or problems. And we can look at what's coming up in your love life or what it is you actually want. Do you want to be in a family? Do you want to be by yourself? No one can answer those things for you. Only you can answer those for you. And sometimes it's really difficult to know what we want out of life, isn't it? My friend was really struggling with feelings of loneliness. So she thought she was going to get a dog. So she got the dog. And a week later, she called me up in tears. And she was really upset because it turned out she was allergic to the dog. It made her break out in hives, and also the responsibility of the dog was far too much for her to handle, and she just couldn't cope. So eventually she had to return the dog to the shelter, which is so sad for her and for the dog, who thought he had a new home and now doesn't. And it's really because she just, rushed off, tried to do something to make her feel better and instantly fix it, rather than accepting the gift and letting the real guidance and the real wisdom come in the sense of, this is what you can actually do to feel better and to strengthen your relationships, rather than going for the quick fix. The quick fix isn't going to work today. It's work and effort. And that's usually the way in life. Quick fixes don't usually work. You know, those diets. My ex-partner went on the cabbage soup diet, which I thought was ridiculous, for a week. So what he did was just eat cabbage soup for a week. Didn't smell particularly pleasant. Lost loads of weight, but then once the cabbage soup diet was over, he ate the way he always ate, and he gained that weight back within a month. So it's pointless. So it's about consistency and not quick fixes, and it's about ongoing spiritual development and growth. I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure you communicate, and you communicate things that are good and the things that are troubling you. If you'd like a private reading with me, then get in touch via the website, as I mentioned. I hope you have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.